Tony Gwyn tonight.
Defensively for the Expos, Chris Widger is behind the plate. Brad Fulmer at first base. Mike Mordecai at second. Orlando Cabrera at shortstop. And Michael Barrett at third. In the outfield, Rondell White, Manny Martinez in center field, and Vladimir Guerrero in right. Well, if history is on Tony Gwyn's side, he should get his 3,000th hit tonight. Today marks the 6-year anniversary of Tony's 2,000th career hit. That was off Colorado's Bruce Ruffin at what was then Jack Murphy Stadium. And we say hello to all the folks watching tonight in San Diego at Qualcomm Stadium as Tony Gwyn goes for number 3,000. Tony also had his 400th, 1200th, 1900th, and 2900th hit here in Montreal. So this would be an appropriate place for number 3,000. He will be up next as Kilvio Veras leads off for the Padres. We're glad you can be with us both at home and at Qualcomm Stadium. Hopefully history will be made tonight. Strike one to Kilvio Veras. Bob Davidson is the plate umpire tonight, and he was part of the umpiring crew in Tony Gwyn's first major league game back in 1982. Kerwin Danley, one of Tony Gwyn's former college teammates at San Diego State, is the first base umpire. Ed Montague is at second, and Mike Winters working at third. 1-1 strike to Kilvio Veras. And he lines a base hit into left field. And the crowd, small as though it may be, giving Tony Gwyn an ovation, many of them standing, rising to their feet as he comes up for the first time. One hit shy of 3,000. Tony's place in history is brought to you by El Cajon Ford. As Tony Gwyn says, nobody beats El Cajon Ford at Broadway and Main. And I'm predicting Tony Gwyn will hit Dan Smith's first pitch into center field for a base hit.
That's not a bad call. Wouldn't it be vintage Tony Gwyn if he hits one right through the 5.5 hole?
But he takes the first pitch for a strike. Facing Dan Smith for the first time, the young right-hander with a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. 23 years of age from Kansas. Grounded foul up the first base line off the foot of Tony Gwyn. Well, Pete Rose got his 4,000th career hit here on April the 13th, 1984. Willie Mays also collected his 3,000th career hit against the Expos in San Francisco off Expos pitcher Mark Wagner. And Smith comes inside to back Tony up 1-2. Now, Tony has had more hits off Greg Maddux, the 4-time Cy Young Award winner, than any other pitcher. He has 35 hits off him. He had 19 off Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan. Now facing Dan Smith. Line drive, center field. There it is. Number 3,000 for Tony Gwyn. In his first at bat of the night in a foreign country in Canada at Olympic Stadium, Tony Gwyn has done it. Being congratulated by Kerwin Danley, the first base umpire, his former teammate at San Diego State. And all of Tony's teammates streaming out of the dugout to congratulate him. And they are going wild at Qualcomm Stadium, sharing in the exploits of Tony Gwyn, who in his first at bat becomes the 22nd player in Major League history to get 3,000 hits. What a thrill. Merv Redmond, his longtime hitting coach, giving him a hug. Greg Booker, his former teammate, now the bullpen coach. And there's his mom, Vindella, who, by the way, is celebrating a birthday tonight. So not only does Tony get a 3,000 hit, he does it on his mom's birthday. And here comes the rest of the family. Alicia, his daughter, his niece. A lot of the traveling party went back home. I'm sure they're either watching at home or at Qualcomm tonight. Congratulations to them as well. What a moment. So a journey that began back on July 19th, 1982, with an 8th inning double off Philadelphia's Sid Monge, now reaches 3,000 hits here in Montreal. And we'd like to welcome the ESPN viewers who've joined us for this historic moment. They've taken first base. Been replaced by another one. Tony Gwyn says he will keep the ball that was hit for his 3,000th career hit. It'll go in his trophy case at home. He has designated other balls on the way to 3,000 for various family members, for his mom, for his wife, for his kids, for his alma mater at San Diego State, his old high school. Another look at number 3,000.
Well, it was a breaking ball, and it looked like Tony stayed on that ball quite well. Earlier on, he said he was jumping, and the reaction of the San Diego Padres bench, smiles all the way around. It's got to be a weight off the shoulder of Tony. He's happy about it.
No, it's finally over. Tony Gwyn had hoped it would end tonight. Sonny Jaramillo, who's been traveling with the team, keeping track of the ball, the time, the place, who the pitcher was. On Tony's march to 3,000 hits, they have been retiring not only the balls and the bats, but the uniforms and the batting helmets. And Tony says when he gives out the gifts to people, not only will they get a ball, they will also get a complete uniform. Reggie Sanders pops it up back of second base. And the shortstop, Orlando Cabrera, makes the catch. 1 out. What a relief it must be for Tony Gwyn.
Sure, everybody would have liked to have had Tony do it in St. Louis, but I'll tell you what, these fans, as soon as Tony was announced, they were standing and clapping. You could hear the roar when he got that hit. That was nice.
And now Phil Nevin up with 1 out, runners at first and third. Ground ball foul. Phil Nevin has become pretty much the Padres' everyday third baseman now, with George Arias being designated for assignment, having cleared waivers. Eric Owens played there a couple of games in St. Louis, but that was to get both Owens and Nevin in the lineup. Phil has 14 homers and 43 RBIs and only 184 at bats, so he's been pretty productive. Off the plate for a ball, 1-1.
Yeah, it is quite amazing, the numbers from the offensive side as compared to plate appearances from Phil Nevin. Swinging the bat extremely well, and there's got to be a way Bruce Bochy can put him in the lineup every day along with Eric Owens to get that punch. Plus, these guys like to get dirty. They're going to play hard, go out there and give it everything they got every game.
Tony Gwyn tonight became the first major leaguer to reach 3,000 hits since Paul Molitor did it for the Minnesota Twins in 1996. Fouled back, and he became the first national leaguer to reach 3,000 hits since Lou Brock did it as a Cardinal in 1979 at Busch Stadium. And Lou Brock was on hand throughout the series in St. Louis. See if Tony could reach 3,000. He wasn't able to do it there. He's done it tonight in Montreal. And only 2 players have reached 3,000 hits in fewer games than Tony Gwyn: Ty Cobb and Stan Musial. It's a base hit down the right field line. Gilvio Veras comes in to score. Tony Gwyn is being waved home, and he will score on a 2-run double by Phil Nevin. Now the Padres take the lead, off to a good start here in Montreal as Nevin picks up RBIs 44 and 45, and Tony Gwyn tips his hat to the crowd. And people are cheering tonight at Qualcomm Stadium. That must be quite a scene. I wonder if there's a bigger crowd at Qualcomm than there is here.
I'm almost sure there is. It's almost like a B game atmosphere here. We're in Peoria in the morning, and not very many people are here in Montreal, but they're experiencing some history, and it's nice to hear that people back in San Diego are at the queue cheering on number 19 and the Padres.
It's a shame Tony Gwyn couldn't have done it first in San Diego, or secondly in a great baseball city like St. Louis. He's done it here in Montreal, and as Tim Flannery said in our pregame show, maybe that's appropriate because Tony Gwyn for years has kind of labored in obscurity. Over the years, he's played on a lot of teams that weren't all that good. Tim Flannery was his teammate for many years. Of course, in recent years, the Padres have been good. And throw goes into center field. Phil Nevin will go to third, and the ball gets away from Martinez, the center fielder. Dan Smith throws the ball into center field. He's charged with an error.
Dan Smith had a timing play on at second base for the pickoff attempt. He thought maybe Phil Nevin was off a little bit too much. He rushed his throw. I'll tell you what, the Expos are lucky that Martinez finally got to that ball. He could have scored.
Wally Joyner lays off a high pitch, and it's 3-0. Smith's struggling, gave up a single to Kilvio Veras, gave up Tony Gwynn's 3,000th hit, a 2-run double to Phil Nevin, and then committed an error, putting a runner at third. And he walks Wally Joyner, so the rookie right-hander having his problems. Let me correct myself. I said Tony Gwyn is the first major leaguer to reach, or one of the earliest ever to reach 3,000 hits. Only 2 players have done it sooner. Ty Cobb was one. He did it in 2,135 games, and Napoleon Lajoie did it in 2,224 games in 1914. Tony Gwyn actually did it quicker than Stan Musial.
Felipe Alou doing the right thing. At least it's a smart thing. He's getting JD up in the bullpen. Looks like Dan Smith might be laboring a little bit. Maybe he's caught up in the euphoria of Tony Gwyn getting his 3,000th hit, but he's definitely having some trouble right now walking Wally Joyner after giving up 2 runs and a runner at third.
Eric Owens coming up for the first time with Phil Nevin at third base. Wally Joyner at first. The Padres leading 2-0. Owens having a good road trip so far. He was 5 for 15 in St. Louis. It's a chopper to third. Barrett goes to second. Mordecai to first. Not in time. The Padres pick up another run as Phil Nevin is in to score, and it's 3-0. As Eric Owens' speed prevents a double play, and he picks up his 47th RBI, tops on the club.
And even though it's turf here at Olympic Stadium, that ball gets to the infielders quick. Be able to turn that double play. They got the force out at second base, but as Mel mentioned, a great point, the speed. Eric Owens is safe at first.
And look for the Padres to try to run tonight. They stole 5 bases against the Cardinals last night. Eric Owens and Reggie Sanders are now tied for the club lead with 26 steals each. Damian Jackson not far behind with 24, and Kilvio Veras now has 20, so they have 4 players in the lineup with 20 or more steals.
Well, I think it's a good situation for the Padres scoring this early and get a chance to bury the Expos.
Ben Davis lines a base hit into left field, and Eric Owens will go to second. The ball gets away from the left fielder Rondell White, and Owens goes to third. Well, the Expos are playing terribly in this first inning. Their second error. It's a single for Davis, an error on Rondell White, allowing Owens to get to third.
That's a heads-up play by Eric Owens. Rondell White fielded cleanly. Looked like that ball hit him in the bare hand. Couldn't find the handle, and then once again, the speed of Eric Owens. He takes advantage of the bonehead play out there.
Second error by the Expos in the first inning, and the Padres now have 4 hits off Dan Smith. Damian Jackson up, the 8th hitter to come to the plate, and takes a strike. It doesn't look like Smith is throwing much aside from fastballs.
It looks like he doesn't have much command of that pitch either, so it might be a short night for for Dan Smith, as a Smart continues to warm up in the bullpen.
1-1 to Damian Jackson. Back in the lineup at shortstop. Chris Gomez has been getting most of the action since coming off the disabled list and has been playing well. Damian started 1 game at second base in St. Louis. Tony Gwyn relaxing in the dugout, finally getting his 3,000th hit. And stay with us between innings. We've got a special Tony Gwyn feature for you that I think you'll enjoy. Line drive to left, another base hit. Owens is in to score on a single by Damian Jackson, and the Padres open up a 4-0 lead. Great start tonight in Montreal. The 31st RBI for Damian Jackson. It looks like Felipe Alou is going to have to go to his bullpen in the first inning.
Well, that's 25 pitches tonight for Dan Smith, and sure enough, he's handing the rock over to Felipe. He's making a change.
So that'll do it as the Padres knock Dan Smith out in the first inning, scoring 4 times off the rookie right-hander, and we'll be back.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by Goodyear. Innovative technology to help you get there.
You know, we're similar to NASCAR drivers.
How's that?
Their tires say Goodyear. Our blimp says Goodyear. They go 185 miles an hour.
We're going 35.
It goes faster.
There's Goodyear innovation at the racetrack and at your Goodyear retailer. Now get up to a $40 gift card by mail-in offer with a purchase of 4 select Goodyear tires. Or double your gift card up to $80 when purchased on your Goodyear credit card.
And 36.
Pedal to the metal.
Goodyear. Get there.
New Subway Scrabble. Instantly win food or collect letters and play online to win trips, cash, and other prizes. Subway. Eat fresh.
Bourne showed up on our surveillance.
They erased his identity.
Jason Bourne is at large in New York City.
They stole his past.
Eliminate the threat.
On August 3rd, see what happens when Bourne finally comes home.
Holy.
We know what men like. Mitchum Smart Solid. Powerful protection, unbeatable against white residue. Wow, let's see that again. For powerful all-day protection that doesn't come off on your shirt, be a smart Mitchum man.
Tonight, home run derby champ Vladimir Guerrero swings for the fences.
That one is way back there. Goodbye!
Against Gary Sheffield and the hot-hitting Detroit Tigers. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Tigers Angels 8 Eastern tonight.
It's Generation Y Week on Beat the Heat Summer. From the long ball to paintball. From video games to X Games.
Oh, my God.
It's a Beat the Heat Summer. Starts Monday at 1, only on ESPN Classic.
And Tony Gwyn tonight getting his 3,000th hit off Dan Smith of Montreal, who's been knocked out of the game. J.D. Smart now takes over, facing Sterling Hitchcock. With runners at first and second, the Padres have scored 4 times in the first inning. Sterling Hitchcock fouls it back. I saw Hitch the other day taking some soft toss with Dave Smith, working out his hitting. That's a good sign.
Well, he wants a little piece of the action, too. His troops have scored 4 here for him in the first inning. Swinging the bat better and better as time goes on. He's really worked on that. You really have to respect Hitch in that category because he's worked extremely hard.
And Sterling has 3 hits in 38 at-bats this year, hitting .079. Got to feel pretty good. He's never beaten Montreal. He's 0-3 lifetime against them, and yet the Padres have gotten him 4 quick runs.
Well, J.D. Smart trying to stop the bleeding here. He's got a fastball, slider, a sinker, and a changeup.
And Sterling Hitchcock strikes out, but Tony Gwyn gets his 3,000th career hit, and the Padres take a 4-0 lead in Montreal.
We're here at Bruce Rossmeyer's Destination Daytona, home to one of the largest motorcycle dealerships in the world. Let's go talk to Bruce. So Bruce, this place you built, it's like a theme park for bikers.
Yep.
And because of this place, you sell a lot of motorcycles.
Yeah.
And the bikes, they need to be insured?
Of course.
So why do your customers like Geico motorcycle insurance?
Because this guy saves people money, and he's always around to help.
Mr. Rossmeyer, call line 5. Mr. Rossmeyer.
Geico Motorcycle. Let's ride.
There was nothing like a walk-off homer in October. You know the trot, the euphoria, the stadium shaking to its core. Nothing in sports brings such a finale to a game.
What a way to finish!
You know that. They know that. The only thing that we don't know
walk-off home run
is who will walk off with that feeling this year. There's only one postseason. There's only one fall classic. There's only one October.
Get big arms, a ripped chest, and cut abs with the Perfect Push-Up. The Perfect Push-Up works with the natural rotation of your arms and shoulders to maximize results and minimize stress on your body. With the Perfect Push-Up, your hands, arms, and shoulders rotate 90 degrees, just like in a punch. All the energy of the push-up is captured and transmitted right where you want it, to the muscles. There's no wasted effort, just muscle-building movement. And as your arms rotate, you feel it work in your biceps, your triceps, your chest and abs, and your shoulders. Invented by a U.S. Navy SEAL and made with steel and a ball-bearing movement, it's the push-up perfected. So here's the deal. The perfect push-up is only 2 payments of $19.95. When you order, you'll receive 2 perfect push-up rotational handles, and you'll also receive the Navy SEAL-inspired perfect push-up workout chart. You'll be ripped in no time. Get big fast. Call right now for the perfect push-up.
Tony Gwyn tonight at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, picking up his 3,000th career hit, a first-inning single off Dan Smith. 13 of the 22 players who've reached 3,000 hits have done it at home. And Tony is the 9th to record his 3,000th hit on the road, but he provided a birthday present for his mom, Vendella. There are some San Diego fans here tonight. Hardy fans indeed, journeying all the way to Montreal. There were many more in St. Louis, and we understand that fans in San Diego and those that are here are snapping up the tickets for tonight's game to save as souvenirs. And I would like to mention a couple of people who slipped me notes. Steve Casey, a retired San Diego Police Department policeman, flew in from San Diego. He was in St. Louis. Didn't get a chance to mention his name last night. Kathy Walker, John and the kids from Belleville, Illinois, send all their best to Tony, as well as to brother Harry Anderson, who's recovering from surgery, and a number of other people here or in St. Louis. So Tony has done it. Well done. It's already thinking about 4,000. Here come the Expos. Manny Martinez, Michael Barrett, and Rondell White to face Sterling Hitchcock. And there are 2 players in the batting order that Sterling Hitchcock is concerning himself with. One is Rondell White, who is 6 for 6 lifetime with 3 home runs. The other is Vladimir Guerrero, the cleanup hitter. So if at all possible, he will try to pitch around those 2 and go after the rest.
And it's no fun as a team being down 4-0, and you've got a pitcher like Sterling Hitchcock, who's been throwing the ball extremely well, to shut you down. That's the one thing in Sterling's mind right now. Get ahead of these guys and get the Padres back in the dugout so they get the bats back in their hands.
Fastball high, 2-1 to Manny Martinez, who previously played with the Phillies and the Pirates. Hitting .270 on the year with 2 homers. Sterling Hitchcock, lifetime in 3 starts against the Expos, is 0-3. He had a memorable outing against them last year, August the 29th. He struck out a career high 15 batters against Montreal, but lost that game 3-1. Scott Sanders relieved him and struck out 2 more, as a combined for 17 strikeouts. And Martinez knocks Ben Davis' mask off with a foul ball.
We can see the swing that Martinez took right there. This Expos team, they've got a lot of free swingers. They like to take aggressive swings. And because they're aggressive, if Sterling gets ahead, then he can throw that split-fingered fastball that he throws a lot in the dirt. He can throw the changeup below the knees. And these guys will be hacking.
Breaking ball. From a curveball is popped in the air to left field. Reggie Sanders takes it for the first out. Well, it's been a thrill for me, and I know for you, to be a part of what we've seen here the past couple of days. Mark McGwire reaching 500 homers, and Tony Gwyn 3,000 hits tonight.
Sterling Hitchcock 10-8. He's been throwing the ball extremely well, and as you can see, the innings pitched are starting to creep up higher than the hits allowed. And of course, he's 6th in the National League with 132 strikeouts, all because of getting ahead and dropping that split finger like I just mentioned.
Michael Barrett, the third baseman, out and takes a strike. Barrett, the Expos' first-round draft pick in 1995, also done quite a bit of catching. Hitting .278 with 3 homers. And that's a base hit down the left field line. A big hop off the bullpen mound that skips away from Reggie Sanders. Rolling around in the corner as Barrett goes into second. Now heading for third. They got a shot at him. The throw is not in time. He's in there with a triple. Talk about crazy bounces. That ball hit the bullpen mound, shot about 30 feet in the air, then hit it off the side of the fence, rolled out on the warning track.
Well, Barrett gets the fastball middle away. You can see off the mound. And then Reggie's got to contend with that padding. Oh, it hit the lip of the warning track and the turf, you can see right there. And that triple is corner aided, I should say, as Reggie tracks it down. And I tell you, he did a good job hitting the cutoff, man. It was a close play at third base.
Rondell White smokes the first pitch into left center. Eric Owens takes a base hit away from him. What a play. Barrett is in to score, but Owens robs White. Had that ball fallen in, Rondell White would have been 7 for 7 off Sterling Hitchcock. Terrific catch by Owens.
Well, if you ask Bruce Bochy, where should Eric Owens play? It's in the outfield. And why? Because he needs room to roam. Don't fence this guy in. Third base, he's only limited to the right, to the left, charging balls. But this guy, for sure, he needs to be in the outfield just because of that reason. He's going to dive on this turf. He's going to dive all over the place and make those great plays.
That's a tough play on his turf. Probably has a turf burn on his elbow.
He don't care. Look at that. He wants another one right like that.
He's an old football player. He didn't mind. Vladimir Guerrero sends one to deep center field. Owens digging hard, way back there, and it's gone. So the two guys that Sterling Hitchcock was concerned with that hit the ball hard. White flying deep to left center. That ball was hot, but he did drive in a run. And now Guerrero hits his 23rd home run of the year, and it's 4-2 Padres.
Well, last year Guerrero was the youngest Espo to make it to 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. Another thing, watch this strength. That fastball is down and away, and it's not even a good swing. He almost had to reach for it. Eric Owens, he can't make that play. He's out of room.
Well, Guerrero's amazing. He's got extremely long arms. His plate coverage is really uncanny. He can reach almost anything. Well, the Expos get right back in it, scoring 2 runs. And a ball to Chris Widger. 2-0 the count to the Expos catcher. Hitting .281 on the year with 11 homers. Two and one.
You know, we mentioned the atmosphere in St. Louis, and then we come to Montreal here like this. I'm telling you what, even as a big leaguer, you've got to really concentrate on bearing down in a situation like that where there isn't many.
Yes, says Kerwin Danley.
Where there isn't a lot of excitement. So as a pitcher, as a player, you really have to buckle down and concentrate.
The Expos have only been averaging about 7,000 fans per game. They had reported that probably about 16,000 would show up tonight. Tough to tell because they're so scattered in this big ballpark. Strike 3 to Widger. That's all for the Expos, but they come back with 2 runs in the first, and it's 4-2 Padres.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by Goodyear. Innovative technology to help you get there.
The next big idea in fuel is corn. Corn-raised E85 ethanol. And no one offers more E85 flex fuel models than Chevy. Not Toyota, not Honda. It's cleaner burning, mostly renewable, and reduces our dependence on petroleum. Chevy, that's an American revolution.
Cholesterol. It can come from bow tie pasta, but also from your grandfather Bo. From that pie, creamy banana. And your mom, Juliana. A healthy diet is important. When that's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Cholesterol comes from 2 sources, food and family. Vytorin treats 2 sources. Only Vytorin helps block the absorption of cholesterol from food and reduces the cholesterol your body makes naturally. Vytorin was also proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone, more than Crestor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Tell your doctor right away about unexplained muscle pain or weakness, which may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Certain medicines or foods may increase your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. So eat right, stay active, but if that's not enough, ask your doctor about adding Vytorin, 2 sources of cholesterol. Treat them both with Vytorin.
You know, we're similar to NASCAR drivers.
How's that?
Their tires say Goodyear. Our blimp says Goodyear. They go 185 miles an hour.
We're going 35.
Goes faster.
There's Goodyear innovation at the racetrack and at your Goodyear retailer. Now get up to a $40 gift card by mail-in offer with the purchase of 4 select Goodyear tires, or double your gift card up to $80 when purchased on your Goodyear credit card.
And 36.
Pedal to the metal.
Goodyear. Get there.
The life of a Dairy Queen Blizzard cake. First, your favorite candy goes inside a blizzard. The blizzard then goes inside a blizzard cake, which goes inside your mouth. And then inside your tummy. But wait 20 minutes before you go inside the ocean. Or else you could end up inside a whale. The end.
With the amazing DQ Blizzard Cakes, you get to choose which Blizzard flavor you want. Now that's a good reason to celebrate. Do one and DQ something different.
It's back.
Oh, look at that!
The legendary American Gladiators, weeknights 7 Eastern, 10 Pacific on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back to Olympic Stadium, where Tony Gwyn picked up his 3,000th career hit in the first inning off Dan Smith. The Padres knocked Smith out of the game and now facing J.D. Smart. Tony will be up second in the inning as the Expos again face the top of the order. Kilvio Veras, Tony Gwyn, and Reggie Sanders. Kilvio started the inning with a single off Dan Smith and scored the first of 4 Padre runs. Smart's first pitch is a strike.
Well, just like that, the Expos cut the Padre lead in half, 4-2. They need some more base runners. Now they need to get to J.D. Smart.
Any relation to Maxwell?
That's a good call, as he almost trips and breaks his neck on the mound right there.
Saw him talking into his shoe before the game. I kind of wondered.
Maybe he's trying to get in touch with 99. Maybe try to figure out these Padre hitters.
2-1 to Kilvio Veras. J.D. Smart, a 25-year-old right-hander from Texas. Another base hit for Q, and again a big hop off the bullpen mound. And Kilvio's into second base with a double. So he's 2 for 2. And here comes Tony Gwyn for the second time.
Well, it'd be nice when we go home from this road trip to see that banner above Qualcomm Stadium with Tony Gwyn's picture on it. It's been covered for most part of the summer. It'd be nice to see that face along the ring of lights at the Q.
And I'm sure Tony is relieved now. He said he wanted to get the 3,000 hit out of the way so this team could get back to concentrating on winning. He admits it has been somewhat of a distraction with all the attention he's been getting. But he wants to win. That is first and foremost on his mind. Another base hit for Tony Gwyn. He's 2 for 2. Number 3001.
I tell you what, you better watch out, because now that all the pressure's off, Tony Gwyn might creep up amongst the league leaders and start flirting with the batting title. He might go on a tear like there's no tomorrow. Look at this pitch right here by Smart. Up around the letters, and Tony gets on top of this ball. Watch the top hand. Some serious top spin on that ball, and there's a knock to center field. First and third for the Padres, and nobody out. No retreats.
Tony with 3,001 hits, just 6 away from Al Kaline on the all-time hit list. A Hall of Famer, great Detroit Tiger outfielder. It's amazing the people he's passed on the all-time hit list this year. Strike 1 to Reggie Sanders. On his way to 3,000 hits, he's passed Rogers Hornsby, Wee Willie Keeler, Frank Robinson, among others. He's passed Roberto Clemente, who had exactly 3,000 hits. Tony has one up on him. Broken bat roller to third. Barrett boots it. Gilby Olvera streaks home with a 5th Padre run, and that's the 3rd error of the game already by the Expos, as Michael Barrett commits an error.
Well, just like that, as I mentioned, not even close, off the heel of Barrett. The Padres starting to thread again with their 5th run. Expos defense giving some extra outs to the Padres.
3rd error of the game by the Expos already, and we're in the 2nd inning. Tony Gwyn is at second base, Sanders at first, and here's Phil Nevin, who drove in 2 runs with a double his first time up. He takes a ball from J.D. Smart. Ground ball. Barrett goes to second. Throw to first is in time. A 5-4-3 double play. Tony Gwyn goes to third. And now there are 2 outs.
Well, as an infielder, as an outfielder, if you boot one, you know the old adage, if the horse kicks you off, you want to get right back up on that horse. Well, Barrett gets his chance. He gets the ground ball again. How about 1 pitch, 2 outs? He picks him up. There's the back end of that double play.
And Wally Joyner steps in. Wally walked his first time up. Padres leading 5-2 in the 2nd inning. J.D. Smart's first pitch is a strike. Fastball inside and low. J.D. Smart was recalled from AAA Ottawa on July 20th when Miguel Batista went on the disabled list. Spent most of last year in the minor league, starting off in A-ball and working up to AA and then AAA. If you've got some talent and you're in the Montreal organization, you can get to the big leagues much more quickly than with other clubs.
It's a good opportunity for these kids to come up here and learn in the big leagues. Remember back in the late 80s, early 90s with the Atlanta Braves, those guys, gosh, Lavin lost 15, 16 games. Avery lost 14 games. Smoltz lost a lot of games. They essentially pitched their minor leagues in the big leagues.
But the Expos have always had a very good farm system. Their problem has been keeping players once they become stars. They've just not been able to pay them. Slider inside, 2-2. Larry Walker was the Montreal Expo. He left town. Moises Alou was here, playing for his father, Felipe. He left to go to Houston. John Wetland, great reliever. And go on and on. They did lock up this young man, Vladimir Guerrero, signing him to the richest contract in team history last year. Little roller out in front of the plate. Chris Widger picks it up and throws out Wally Joyner. But the Padres pick up another run and now lead the Expos 5-2.
We know what men like. Mitchum Smart Solid. Powerful protection, unbeatable against white residue. Wow, let's see that again. For powerful all-day protection that doesn't come off on your shirt, be a smart Mitchum man.
New Subway Scrabble, a 1-in-2 chance to win instantly. Play new Subway Scrabble to instantly win food, or collect letters and play online for a chance to win thousands of prizes, including 10 $100,000 jackpots. Play often, win often. Subway, eat fresh.
Some guys like to relax in a leather recliner. But to others, there's nothing better than cardboard on concrete. Valvoline, 100 years under the hood.
This is you after an energy drink. Unfortunately, so is this. Why do energy drinks make you crash? 1 minute you're wired up, the next you feel worse than before. The answer is large amounts of sugar and caffeine. That's why you should try a new liquid energy shot called 5-Hour Energy. With 5-Hour Energy, you can leave grogginess behind and sail through your day without feeling jittery, tense, or you know. That's because 5-Hour Energy contains a powerful blend of B vitamins for energy, amino acids for focus and better mood, and enzymes to help you feel it faster. There's 0 sugar, about as much caffeine as a cup of coffee, and only 8 calories. The 2-ounce shot takes just seconds to drink, and in minutes you're feeling awake, alert, and productive. And that feeling lasts for hours. So if your energy drink makes you crash, switch to 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later. Find out if 5-Hour Energy is right for you. It's available at these fine stores. Or for more information, go to 5hourenergy.com.
Dell XPS M1330, the world's thinnest 13.3-inch notebook. Powered by Intel Centrino Duo. Dell, yours is here.
Tony Gwyn tonight picked up his 3,000th career hit. If he had his druthers, he would rather have done it at Qualcomm Stadium.
The only thing I'd like to say is to our fans back in San Diego, I would have really loved to have done this at home. More than anything else, I feel guilty that I wasn't swinging the bat well enough to give the people at home an opportunity to, be a part of this. And the people here in St. Louis have no question made me feel welcome, made me feel, appreciated, and and all those things. But deep down, it still bothers me that I didn't do this at home.
But he has done it tonight in the first inning off Dan Smith, and then tacked on another single in the second off J.D. Smart. 2-1 to Tony, up for the third time, leading off the Padre fourth. Three and one. Kind of interesting that Tony got his 3,000th here. He also picked up his 400th, 1,200th, 1,900th, and 2,900th hit here. No base hit this time, though. Mike Mordecai throws him out. And he also had picked up his 1,500th hit and 2,600th hit against the Expos in San Diego. Well, Tony is 2 for 3 tonight. Tony said he'd hoped to get this out of the way 2 months ago. But then he injured his calf, was in and out of the lineup on the disabled list. Took a little longer than he'd expected.
Well, you bring up a point, that calf. It's good to see that Tony is doing well, not having any side effects from that calf injury. Hopefully he can stay healthy the rest of the year. Looks like he's running the bases well. He's playing well on the turf. No problems.
1 ball, 1 strike to Reggie Sanders, who's popped to short and reached on an error by the third baseman. Put a movement on that pitch. That is nasty.
See, with a guy like Smart, we mentioned Matt Clement's name. Remember, Matt Clement in spring training was having trouble throwing strikes. So Carlos Hernandez just sat right down the middle of the plate and let the ball do all the work. Throw it for the heart of the plate, right above the knees. See what happens.
Got that pitch up, and Sanders fouls it back. That was a 4-seamer. The other was a 2-seamer that sinks. Reggie played well in St. Louis. He went 5 for 13 with 2 homers. Drove in 3 runs, scored 3, and also stole 2 bases. Line drive into left center field. And Sanders going to try for second base. Here comes the throw, and he slides in safely. He never stopped. He knew as soon as he left the batter's box he was going to try for 2. And in there with a double.
Just goes to show you the hustle of Reggie Sanders. He goes down and gets that slider, stays on it nicely. And let's take a look at Manny Martinez in center field. Does he lollygag? Is he a lollygagger? Well, he got to the ball, and then the snap throw, I think it was just all Reggie Sanders. He was hustling right out of the box.
15th double of the year for Sanders and the 9th Padre hit of the game. And here's Phil Nevin, who's doubled in 2 runs and grounded into a double play. Takes a strike from J.D. Smart.
Well, that changes everything in this inning, because with 1 out, if Reggie was at first base, a double play would be in order. Now Phil Nevin, if he can get a base hit, probably be the 6th run for the Pods.
Slider outside. Well, Eric Owens has 47 RBIs to lead the club. Nevin picked up 2 more tonight, so he has 45, and he's only been up 186 times.
Incredible.
Sanders draws the throw.
That's a timing play right there between the infielders and the pitcher. The pitcher will look back at second base, and then the infielders, the shortstop or the second baseman, will flash the glove. It's called the flash play, and then spin and throw to second base.
Nevin hammers one high in the air to left field and deep. Back goes Rondell White, and it is gone. A 2-run blast for Phil Nevin, and the Padres lead 7-2. Nevin having a big night in Montreal. He's now driven in 4 runs, and that's his 15th home run of the season. So he's now tied with Eric Owens for the club lead in RBIs. Each has driven in 47. Well, he went to Bruce Bochy and said, how about a chance to play third base? Bruce Bochy gave him that opportunity, and he's done a terrific job.
Well, we've talked about Eric Owens. Well, how about Phil Nevin? Here's another reason why this guy should be in the lineup. Stick him at third base. He was drafted as a third baseman. He got the breaking ball. He loses one here in Montreal. Yuppie doesn't like it. The mascot for the Expos. Incredible numbers, though, from the production side of Phil Nevin.
Whoa. Wally Joyner lines one up the middle for a base hit. The 11th Padre hit of the game. Padres had 10 hits last night in their victory over the Cardinals and have 11 more tonight in Montreal.
Tell you what, that ball right there looked like it was going to come right back into your living room. Hot smash right up the middle. Maybe the Montreal pitcher should wear some hockey pads. Well, look out. Yuppie trying to rally on the troops. Needs a shave, it looks like.
Mentioned the other night the great line that Felipe Alou had about Yuppie. Apparently there was some advertising citing Yuppie as the best player on the team, and Felipe said, Yuppie's not the best player on our team. If he was, he would have been traded by now.
That's great.
Up the middle, the shortstop Cabrera steps on the bag and throws to first. That's all for the Padres, but they pick up 2 more on a 2-run homer by Phil Nevin, and now leads 7-2.
Let's go. Here it is. Home of the $20 cover charge. $20. This is unbelievable. Don't mind us. See, this beer is about helping people live the high life. It's a good, honest beer at a tasty price. It's simple. You know, there's no cover charge for the high life. I got a shotgun. That's what you get for messing with the high life.
An important lesson I learned is to never give up.
Major League Baseball and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America teach kids the importance of never giving up.
Home run, Big Papi spikes again!
Big kid, big effort, big smile. I guess that's why they call me Big Papi.
Major League Baseball is a proud sponsor of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Together, they create a positive place for kids.
If you think you had a rough start,
Play with that!
if you feel you had a tough childhood, meet a nice guy
Norbit! Norbit!
with a huge problem.
Don't adjust my seat!
What am I going to do? Eddie Murphy.
Run for your life!
And Eddie Murphy. Norbit. Dedicated, courageous, tenacious. Warriors of a different sort, preparing for their moment of glory. NFL Sunday Ticket from DirecTV. Up to 14 games a week during the regular season. For the true football fan, this is where all the magic happens. For the most NFL action anywhere, sign up now and get $20 off the regular price. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS now.
Scored 17 runs and have had 21 hits over the last 13 innings.
Hitting's contagious, just like good pitching. That's one of the reasons right there. Good production numbers from the bat of Phil Nevin. Eric Owens, the secret weapon.
Rondell White takes the first pitch for a ball. White came up in the first inning with a runner at third. He was 6 for 6 lifetime off Sterling Hitchcock. Hit a bullet into left center field that Eric Owens made a diving catch on. And Michael Barrett tagged up and scored, but he has owned Hitchcock. Those are some big time numbers.
There's always that one pitcher as a hitter or vice versa. The pitcher has against a certain hitter. Always a thorn in the side. Talked to Hitch yesterday in St. Louis, and he said there's always could be a guy hitting 150, but there's always that one guy in the lineup who always gives you problems.
Ball got loose in the Montreal bullpen. Bobby Ayala's down there warming up. That was the reason for the momentary delay. One and one to Rondell White. Terrific young player who said he wouldn't mind finishing his career here in Montreal. They've been very loyal to him. They signed him, come along through their organization. The question is, will the Expos be here? Bounce to third. Nevin got to hurry. He throws too high, and White is safe on an error. That's the 5th error of the game. 3 by the Expos and 2 by the Padres.
Well, Phil Nevin has to know that Rondell White has got some speed out of the batter's box. And watch the hop. Looks like Phil Nevin tried to play back, and then he rushed up on that ball. And by that time, even if it was a good throw, it would have been close. Wally Joyner has to leave his feet, and the Expos take advantage of the error.
And Vladimir Guerrero coming up for the second time. He homered his first time up. What a terrific young talent out of the Dominican Republic. Felipe Alou, also from the Dominican, says Guerrero has a chance to be the best player the Dominican has ever produced. He can do it all. He can hit for average, for power. He can run. He has a great arm. He needs to cut down on his errors in the outfield, though. He's committed 13 errors. But what talent. Fastball inside. 1-1 to Vladimir Guerrero. His home run off Sterling Hitchcock in the first inning was the 3rd he's hit off Hitch.
Well, this guy can crush the fastball. Don't leave it middle in. You have to have good command of that fastball. You can see Sterling trying to pound that inside right there. Look again.
2-1 to Vladimir Guerrero. His younger brother Wilton, now a member of the Expos, coming over in a trade from the Dodgers. He's not in the lineup tonight, though. Ground ball to third. Nevin goes to second. Kilby Alvarez to first. A double play. 5-4-3.
Oh, you gotta love the turf. If you're a pitcher and you throw that ground ball and it's right at your infielders, not a better feeling. Phil Nevin gets it. Silver platter, room service double play. Remember Joe Garagiola? That's what he used to call it, a room service double play. 5-4-3. Beautiful.
2 outs, and the catcher Chris Widger coming up. He was called out on strikes to end the first inning. Mentioned the Expos' future here. Somewhat cloudy right now. They hope to have a new ballpark by 2002. I understand there's some moves afoot right now to get the financing in order, which has been a problem. Looks like it'll have to be financed privately. And I understand Commissioner Bud Selig is going to make an announcement soon about what lies ahead here. Felipe Alou was saying before the game he thinks this is a great baseball city. If they get a new ballpark and a competitive team, he said, I'm amazed we're drawing 7,000 or 8,000.
Well, it's pretty amazing. 25 years ago, you could just flip-flop these two organizations. San Diego pretty much in the trucks, ready to head to the East Coast, and the Expos were contending, having great teams.
Fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Reggie Sanders, and it sails out of here. A home run for Chris Widger. 12th home run of the year for Widger, and it's now 7-3 Padres. Second home run of the game for Montreal.
Well, with 2 outs and nobody on, Sterling Hitchcock gives up the solo shot. It makes it 7-3. He's better off throwing something over the plate like that pitch right there to Widger. It looks like he kind of has to go down and get it. Looks like it was a changeup down and away, rather than walk him and then have the next guy do that. So solo shot when you're up 7-2, now make it 7-3. Not a bad.
Brad Fulmer pops it up. Phil Nevin with room down the left field line. He makes the catch for the 3rd out. But a home run by Chris Widger cuts into the Padre lead. It's now 7-3.
Cookie Dough Blast, now at Sonic. This summer, give in to your cravings with a Sonic Cookie Dough Blast, the indulgent taste of chocolate chip cookie dough, blended into a creamy frozen treat. And now Sonic is open till midnight or later, and it's even sweeter after dark.
For each of us, there's a moment of discovery. We see that all of life is elemental. And as we marvel at element bonding with element, we soon realize that when you add the human element to the equation, the chemistry changes. We find a way of seeing that gives us a way of touching. Issues, ambitions, lives. The human element. Nothing is more fundamental. Nothing more elemental.
So you sure this Toshiba is the right computer for college?
Remember, we chose this for its powerful new Intel processor.
And what about security?
Fingerprint scanner.
And support?
Geek Squad can be there for him.
24/7. 24/7.
He's set. You can let him go now.
You're right. That's my boy.
Send them back to school right with Toshiba, leaders in innovation. And right now, save $150 on select computers. Now at Best Buy.
Want a 4-star hotel at a 2-star price? Go to Hotwire.com. When 3- and 4-star hotels have unsold rooms, they use Hotwire to fill them, so you get them at prices lower than any other travel site, guaranteed. Like 4 stars in San Francisco, Travelocity price $219, Hotwire price just $102. Why risk paying more when Hotwire gets you unsold rooms at deep discounts? Hotwire.com. 4-star hotels, 2-star prices.
HOTWIRE, Hotwire.com.
Save big on car rentals, too, from $13.95 a day.
ESPN Classic is opening up the boxing vault.
Right. Oh, the right hand behind the jab.
Now with rarely seen fights. Featuring some of the biggest names in boxing. Golden Boy De La Hoya. Real Deal Holyfield. Sweet Pea Whitaker. From one classic knockout to the next.
That's it. It's all over. It's all over.
Classic Night at the Fights. 8 p.m. weeknights. Only on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back to Olympic Stadium in Montreal. The Padres leading 7-3. Tony Gwyn got his 3,000th hit in the first inning, and there are a lot of people very happy about that.
I'm here with Michael and Kristen Miracle. You thought it would happen here, but you went to St. Louis. Was it worth coming on up here to see Tony's 3,000?
You better believe it. Yeah, wouldn't have missed it for the world. Been planning this since the day he got 2,000. I was fortunate enough to be there for 1,000, 2,000, and he was good enough to do that at home for me, so I thought I'd make the trip to see 3,000 for him.
Good time today?
Definitely worth it. 3,000 miles, $3,000, 3,000 hits.
Yeah, a lot of symmetry there.
All right, thanks, guys.
Jane Mitchell working the crowd, getting some reaction. Gilby Alvarez leading off for the Padres in the 6th. He's gone 2 for 3 tonight with a single and a double and 2 runs scored.
You know, I ran into a gentleman in St. Louis at the hotel. He said, you wouldn't happen to know.
Lines a base hit to center field, his 3rd hit tonight.
Cornered me in the lobby and he said, you wouldn't happen to know anybody driving to Montreal, would you? And I said, excuse me, did you say drive? He said, yes, I want to witness Tony's hit. So this gentleman was planning on driving to Montreal from St. Louis as Kilvio spanks a single to center.
The 12th Padre hit of the game, and that brings up Tony Gwyn, who's 2 for 3 tonight. Picked up his 3,000th hit in the first inning, a single off Dan Smith, single again off J.D. Smart, and grounded out his last time up. Now facing Bobby Ayala. Well, the Padres PR department put together a, what do you call it, a book of Tony's 3,000 hits. It really is the size of a phone book for maybe a mid-sized city. That's amazing. Incredible, some of the names on the list. People at Qualcomm Stadium very happy tonight. Enjoy it. As Tony Gwyn now has 3,000 hits. When I came over from Baltimore, and I'd seen Wade Boggs hit in the American League, I'd seen Rod Carew at the end of his career. I'll never forget going to Merv Retman saying, how good is this Tony Gwyn guy compared to the others? Merv said, he's the best hitter I've ever seen, and I would agree. And I've never seen anybody who works at it like Tony does. Even last night, flying in here on the plane, he was looking at video of his at-bats from last night in St. Louis. And I've told this story before, but one day I took my son Billy out to work with Merv early on a Sunday morning after a Saturday night game. We got there about 9:30 in the morning, thinking we'd get there before the players. Tony was just coming out of the batting cage, having worked with Merv for quite a while, trying to get ready for Randy Johnson that afternoon. Line foul. So he not only has the talent, the great hand-eye coordination, but the work ethic.
I think he sends a great message to kids too. And Bruce Bochy told me yesterday that that's what he tries to tell kids when he goes out to schools and talks to these kids. Hey, if you have a passion for something, no matter what it is, you have to work at it day in and day out. Here's a guy who has 8 batting titles, yet every day he's the first one out there still trying to do better.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Tony Gwyn. And sometimes superstars like Tony and Mark McGwire are regarded as being a little bit aloof. Maybe their teammates kind of feel afraid of approaching him to talk about things, but Tony is accessible. Any young hitter who wants to come up and talk hitting, he'll help. I remember going to the Hall of Fame game several years ago, and the Padres had brought 4 or 5 rookies up in the minor leagues to play in that game in Cooperstown. We were taking the bus from the hotel to the ballpark, and Tony gave a speech to these kids that was so emotional and so stirring about what they had to do to be successful, and it was unsolicited. And in spring training a couple of years ago, he put together a tape with Merv Retman, just giving some simple instructions to minor league hitters about what they should do. So anyone who says he's not a leader, maybe he's not a rah-rah type of guy, but he's there if anybody needs help, and he certainly does his share. Pitch gets by the catcher, and Kilby Overis will go to second base on a wild pitch by Ayala. They said the same thing about Cal Ripken in Baltimore. He said he's not a leader. In fact, the owner, Peter Angelos, criticized him, saying you should be more vocal. All he did is go out and lead by example, doing his job day in, day out. And Tony is a little more vocal than Cal, but what more should you have to do than go out there and do your job best you can?
And believe me, if you've got a question about anything and you want some help, this guy's going to help you. Believe me. You might think he only give you 2 or 3 minutes, but before you know it, you're going to be sitting down talking with Tony for about 10, 15, maybe a half hour.
Ground ball into right field, a base hit, the 3rd hit of the game for Tony Gwyn. Kilby Overis will stop, not challenging the arm by Guerrero, but the ball gets away from the catcher, and Tony Gwyn will go to second. Vladimir Guerrero has a great arm, but the throw was up the first baseline, glanced off the mitt of Chris Widger, and allowing Tony Gwyn to get to second. So that'll be another error, 4th of the game by the Expos.
Tony getting the fastball inside and up. Therefore, he has to bring his hands in closer to his chest to get that barrel out in front. And Guerrero displaying that hose as he's got. Look at that arm. Way off the mark. Not a good play right there. And Tony moves up 90 feet on second base.
Well, that's the 14th error by Vladimir Guerrero. That's a lot of errors for an outfielder. Tony's had a big game tonight. 3 for 4 in Montreal. Runners at second and third for Reggie Sanders. Guerrero's throwing error, the 4th error by the Expos tonight. Kilby O'Veras at third base. Tony Gwyn is at second. Nobody out. Expos play the infield in. Sanders takes a fastball from Bobby Ayala for a strike. Fouled away by Reggie.
You know, we were talking about Tony, talking baseball on the plains, talking baseball in the clubhouse. Tony just doesn't talk about baseball. I remember on the plane last night, it was late. I was getting a little squirrely. I was tired, so I started humming some rap tunes to Tony, and he was trying to figure out who the artist was and started singing a little Hotel, Motel, Holiday Inn. He goes, oh, yeah, Sugar Hill Gang. So we're talking music on the plane. I always like to try to stump Tony.
Fly ball, shallow right field. Kilby O'Veras will tag. Guerrero makes the catch. And again makes a wild throw. Kilby is going to try to score. Ayala's throw to the plate is too late. What's going on with Vladimir Guerrero? That's one of the great arms in the game, but it's been a scatter arm so far as he makes a second error. The Padres now lead 8-3. Five errors by the Expos, 2 by Guerrero.
As time goes on, Vladimir Guerrero will have to realize when to utilize that arm and learn to hit the cutoff man. Look at this play right here. He uses the turf, it bounces, but look at it, it's way up the line. Widger has to dive for it. Bobby Ayala is doing a good job of backing up, but there's no way. Kilby on third base, play right in front of him. He scores easily.
Tony Gwyn goes to third on the play, and the Padres lead 8-3. 5 errors by Montreal. Phil Nevin clubs the first pitch foul. To check the Montreal Expos record book. Make sure I check the English section.
Yeah, it's quite a unique press guy they've got.
Half in English, half in French. How do you say error in French?
It's error.
Error. The error.
I know that the Padres have been getting a lot of retreats, extra retreats each inning.
I noticed that.
It's outs for people at home and at Qualcomm. Sterling Hitchcock has been throwing a lot of prizes tonight, which is a good sign. It's 20:52. It's getting late.
Awfully late. Two balls, one strike to Phil Nevin, who's already driven in 4 runs with a double and a 2-run homer. Fastball in there. 2-2 to Phil. 8 runs, 13 hits tonight for the Padres. They've been aided by 5 Montreal errors, 2 by right fielder Vladimir Guerrero, who now has 15 errors. He had 17 last year to lead the major leagues among outfielders. Well, Phil Nevin strikes out for the second out. And that'll bring up Wally Joyner.
Looked like a dandy of a splitter from Bobby Ayala. Right down the heart of the plate, but it dropped off the table. Check out the action of this pitch right here. It's either, yeah, the old splitter. Phil tipped it just a little bit, but Widger held on for the out.
And now the Expos play the infield back with 2 outs and Wally Joyner up. Wally has walked, grounded out, and singled. Tony Gwyn at third. Padres leading 8-3. So it looks like the offense has come back to life. 10 runs, 10 hits last night. 8 runs, 13 hits tonight. Grounded foul into the Expo dugout.
Well, that's nice to see those numbers, but it'd be even nicer to see those numbers against better teams that have the better pitching staffs. I know they played against Arizona, they played against Houston, and they pretty much shut down the hitting game. But at St. Louis, they put out some good numbers. Now the first game here in Montreal, the bats are hot.
Fastball inside, 1-2 to Wally Joyner. Bobby Ayala, the third pitcher used tonight. Dan Smith lasted just 2/3 of an inning. J.D. Smart went 2 1/3. And now Ayala, bouncer up the first base line to Shane Andrews. Padres pick up another run as we head to the bottom of the sixth. They now lead 8-3.
If Bourne showed up on our surveillance,
they erased his identity.
Jason Bourne is at large in New York City.
They stole his past.
Eliminate the threat.
On August 3rd, see what happens when Bourne finally comes home.
Holy.
Raleigh in Oakland, The Stash, Tiant in Boston, Munson and Goose in New York. Now it is Mauer in Minnesota. J-Roll in Philly, Swisher in Oakland, Vladi in LA. Look at half of the closers in baseball. Look at half of the guys on the Red Sox. There are times when rare talent, true character, and little facial hair come together on a grand stage. There's only one postseason. There's only one fall classic. Oh, wow. There's only one October.
So
No.
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 So, with our home equity line of credit, there's no application fees, no closing costs, no annual fees, no balance transfer fees.
So no fees?
Yes.
No fees, no worries. Just a great opportunity for a home equity line of credit from Bank of America. Bank of Opportunity.
Sunday, August 5th, a boy endures 1,000 cuts of a razor blade, earning the right to be called a man. A mother flattens her daughter's chest so she'll stay unmarried and in school. These are the rarely seen cultures and traditions of the world, often misunderstood because what's acceptable to some is for others taboo. Sunday, August 5th at 9 on Channel 276, the National Geographic Channel. Dare to explore.
Welcome back to Montreal. The Padres just 3 outs away from victory as Carlos Reyes comes in to pitch the ninth. Had a long 24 hours for the Padres. They arrived in Montreal about 4 a.m. last night. So you expect they might be a little sluggish, but they actually came out and played pretty well.
Shouldn't really affect Carlos Reyes. The more work he gets, the better. 23 outings, 1.88 ERA.
Facing Chris Widger leading off the ninth inning. Widger with a single and a home run his last 2 at bats. Dan Maselli worked 1 scoreless inning, retiring the side in order in the 8th before being lifted for a pinch hitter. 1-1 to Widger. It'll be Widger, James Mouton, and Orlando Cabrera in the 9th for the Expos. Ground ball right back to Carlos Reyes. Well, it should be a big crowd tonight, tomorrow, huh? I mean, big crowd tomorrow.
Right, yeah, it's $5 night. And also, hot dogs are going to be $1.
$1 American or Canadian?
That's Canadian now, yeah. So actually, it's only 65, what would it be?
65 cents?
65 cents for a hot dog. American money. It should be a lot of fun. UP should have a good crowd to work in front of.
We'll see if that brings them out. 13,300 or 13,540 here tonight, allegedly. James Mouton up for the 2nd time. He pinch hit in the 7th inning and doubled in a run and stayed in to play center field. I thought this guy was really going to play well for the Padres.
You and me both. I played with James in Tucson along with Phil Nevin in 1993. He was coming up through the Houston organization. I thought this guy was going to be one of the better guys. But he came to San Diego. Didn't put up good numbers.
Ground ball up the middle, and Mouton is 2 for 2. That's the 8th Montreal hit in the first off Carlos Reyes.
I do remember when James Mouton was with the Padres, one of the people he really talked highly about was Merv Rettenman. Looked right there that Mouton was set up in a good position. Just taking that ball up the middle for the base knock.
Orlando Cabrera up for the 4th time. He hit a 3-run homer in the 7th. That cut the Padre lead to 1 run at the time. Strike 1. Expos have hit 3 home runs tonight. Vladimir Guerrero with a solo shot in the first. Chris Widger hit a solo in the fourth, and then Cabrera with a 3-run blast in the seventh off Will Cunane. Phil Nevin is homered for the Padres tonight. Same guy still trying to get a chant going. Let's go Expos. Let's go.
He's keeping the faith in Montreal, that's for sure. I don't know how you say that in French, but he's been chanting all game. Big Expo fan.
Popped foul. Stay with us after tonight's game. Bob Chandler is down in the Padre dugout. He'll be interviewing Tony Gwyn. We'll also hear from Tony's mom. Quite a birthday present for her. And we also have a feature showing all of Tony's hits this year. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Well, Tony's finally gotten it done in a big way. 4 hits tonight in Montreal. With 4 for 5. Picked up his 3,000th hit, his first time up off Dan Smith. Regardless of what Dan Smith does the rest of his career, he'll be known as the guy who gave up Tony Gwyn's 3,000th hit. Wherever Dan Smith goes, years from now, he'll walk in, he'll sign a check. Dan Smith, somebody will say, "You're that guy that gave up Tony Gwynn's 3,000 hit, aren't you?"
Be very proud of that too.
Little high, 3-2. I reminded Andy Ashby that he'll be known forever as the guy who gave up Mark McGwire's 500th home run. He said, "Well, terrific, but at least I won the game." There goes the runner. Popped up foul, back out of play. Mouton running on the pitch.
Wally Joyner is not holding on. Mouton scored 12-7. He's given him that bag if he wants to run. Carlos Reyes should just concentrate on the hitter.
But Reyes walks Cabrera. Mouton goes to second. And now Orlando Merced will pinch hit for Mike Mordecai, and Trevor Hoffman will get up in the bullpen. It's getting a little too interesting.
So Ben Davis going out to the mound, talking with Carlos Reyes, going over a little scouting report. Carlos Reyes probably familiar with Orlando Merced, a left-handed hitter. The chances are that Carlos is going to utilize that changeup to Merced.
Merced hitting .274. He does have a little power. 7 homers, 16 runs batted in. Up there with runners at first and second. Mouton is at second base. Cabrera at first. And Reyes misses with his first pitch, a fastball. Merced has hit 2 pinch hit home runs this year. And Reyes falls behind on him, 2-0. Carlos not particularly sharp. Most of the time he is. But once in a while he comes in, just seems to lack control. Ground ball back to Reyes. He fires to second in time. And the Expos are down to their last out. Mouton goes to third on the play. Cabrera is forced at second, and Merced reaches on a fielder's choice. 1 more to go.
It looked like Carlos Reyes had intentions of going to third base. His momentum was carrying him over that way to get the lead runner, but he chose to go to second to get the runner there. Now with 2 outs, he doesn't have to worry about those runners.
Shane Andrews up for the 3rd time. He struck out and grounded to short after coming in to play first base. Soft liner dropped by Ed Giovanola in there at second base. Mouton comes in to score, and it's 12-8. Well, that should have been the 3rd out. He might have knuckled on Giovanola, but he is charged with an error. Third Padre error, and the inning is still alive.
It was a ball that was cued off the end of the bat, and Eddie G can't believe it.
And Bruce Bochy is going to have to go to the bullpen for Trevor Hoffman now. It's become a save situation.
New Subway Scrabble. Instantly win food or collect letters and play online to win trips, cash, and other prizes. Subway. Eat fresh.
My idea of a symphony? 8 pistons playing the tune my right foot tells them to. Valvoline. 100 years under the hood.
There may be better ways to spend 15 minutes online. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. There may be better ways to spend 15 minutes online. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance.
We know what men like. Mitchum Smart Solid. Powerful protection, unbeatable against white residue. Wow, let's see that again. For powerful all-day protection that doesn't come off on your shirt, be a smart Mitchum man.
I'm Rebecca Stern, and this is where it hurts, in my back. I like to scuba dive. I'm also a scuba diving instructor. I like to see people's expressions when they first go underwater and know that they can do it. The look on their face when they finally get it excites me. Scuba diving can be very physical. The tanks alone, when they're full, weigh over 30 pounds. I have pain in my neck, my shoulders, and my back. I tried the Aleve liquid gels. I loved them. They work fast for me and help alleviate my pain quickly. I plan to keep diving as long as I can. Let's go diving.
It's back.
Oh, look at that!
The legendary American Gladiators, weeknight 7 Eastern, 10 Pacific on ESPN Classic.
It's Generation Y Week on Beat the Heat Summer. From the long ball to paintball, from video games to X Games.
Oh my God!
It's a Beat the Heat Summer. Starts Monday at 1, only on ESPN Classic.
Trevor Hoffman takes over with 2 outs in the 9th, and the Padres leading 12-8. And it is a save situation now for Trevor, who picked up a save in last night's game. He worked an inning in the 3rd last night at St. Louis, picking up his 27th save. He saved 27 out of 30 this year, including 18 in a row. And to face a pinch hitter, Wilton Guerrero batting for the pitcher. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Merced is at second base. Andrews at first, reaching on the error by Ed Giovanola. Fly ball, right center field. That's trouble, and that's in there for extra bases. Merced is in to score. Andrews will come in to score. It's 12-10 as Wilton Guerrero slides in with a pinch hit triple.
Off the bench, pinch hitters got one thing in mind: getting a fastball first pitch and ripping it. They do not want to get in the hole, especially against a pitcher like Trevor Hoffman. He's got 4 quality pitches, but everybody knows it's the changeup that's the nasty one. So he takes advantage of that fastball, clears the bases, and he's standing on third with a triple.
That's the 11th pinch hit of the year for Wilton Guerrero. And now the tying run comes to the plate in Michael Burke. He takes a fastball for a strike. So the Expos have scored 3 times in the 9th inning. All 3 runs are charged to Carlos Reyes. And now the Padres pitching getting into some dangerous territory with Barrett, Rondell White due up next, and Vladimir Guerrero. 1 ball, 1 strike to Barrett, who had a triple in the 1st inning and scored. A .278 hitter this year. Ground ball to short. This should do it. Damian Jackson over to first, and that's the ball game. But it didn't come easy, as the Expos scored 3 times in the 9th inning. The Padres win their 2nd straight, Final score tonight from Montreal. Padres 12, the Expos 10, but don't go away. In a moment, Bob Chandler will be visiting with Tony Gwyn, who tonight had a first inning single off Dan Smith for his 3,000th career hit, and went on to a 4-for-5 performance on the night.
Oh, it looked like it was going to be a laugher tonight for the Padres. Sterling Hitchcock went 6+ innings, giving up 6 runs. And then Will Kinane come on in the 7th. Dan Maselli threw up some goose eggs. It's too bad Carlos Reyes had to leave the game. He was charged with those 3 runs. And then Trevor coming in to get the final out. And that's the man of the hour, the man of the day, the man of the year. Tony Gwyn's getting some congratulations once again on the field after his historic hit.
As soon as he comes into the dugout, Bob Chandler will visit with him. Tony out there congratulating his teammates. Well, Tony Gwyn has finally done it. You can remember this date in Padre history. Friday, August 6, 1999. Olympic Stadium in Montreal is where Tony Gwyn got his 3,000th career hit. Let's go down on the field now to Bob Chandler, who's standing by with the man, Tony Gwyn.
Well, here he is, the latest member of the 3,000 hit club. There are only 22 of them. And Tony, I think the whole baseball world and all of San Diego is happy for you. How do you feel right now?
Well, it feels great. You know, it feels great to finally get this thing over with. It's really great because I got my 2,000th hit on my mom's birthday in '93. Today's my mom's birthday here in '99, and you get 3,000. Really, relief is a real good description right now. I'm just, I can't describe to you all the emotions you felt. You know, you get to first base and guys are coming up, shaking your hand, hugging you, guys on the visiting team. I kind of had to go into the tunnel for a minute to kind of compose myself because I was really trying hard to at least not think about my dad until after I got to the bench. But I got to the bench, I got fidgety and started walking around. I didn't know what to do. So I went in the tunnel and cried a little bit. And so for me, I'm glad it's over. I mean, it was a great ride. It's been a great run. And to have the kind of night I had tonight, I really felt like I swung the bat really well. And so 3,003 sounds pretty good about now. You know, I'm just glad that we finally got there.
Well, your first 4-hit game in over a year. It's been almost 3 hours, but let's take a look at that first hit and describe how you felt.
Well, he threw a breaking ball the pitch before, and came right back with it, and kind of hit it off the end of the bat, cracked my bat, but was really surprised to see it going into the outfield, to be honest with you. And you know, and then you get to first base, you just, I really didn't know. You know, Davey came up, shook my hand, grabbed me, and then after that, it's kind of a blur. You know, I'm sure I'll have recollection once I look at it on videotape, but right now, it's really hard to describe the feelings that you feel.
Even the first base umpire was an old college teammate.
Exactly, yeah, and I know, yeah, a lot of people probably wondered about that. Kerwin Danley and I were at San Diego State for a couple of years, and I didn't even notice that he was there until he walked up on me, and so, and then my mom comes out, and my wife and my daughter, my niece come out, and that was really special for me. It was really special to have my mom here and have my family here. I'm sorry I couldn't do it in San Diego, and I'm sorry I couldn't do it in St. Louis last night. I had a whole lot more family members there, but like I said, to get it done,